Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Party Night. Try to make it until morning.
Written and directed by Troy Escamilla, starring Destinie Orndoff, Tommie Vegas, and Laurel Toupal, Party Night is an indie slasher about 6 friends who go to a cabin to have an after-prom party. Unfortunately, they are stalked by a psychopath. So what do we like? Considering this is a micro-budget indie film, I thought the acting was pretty decent and better than we've seen in a lot of other indie features. Specifically, Amy, our lead, played by Laurel Toupal. I thought she did an excellent job. She was just a really standout actress in this movie, and I thought she did a wonderful job.
It's a shame. We spent most of our lives growing up together, sharing with each other, depending on each other. And now that we are ready to graduate, people are just so eager and willing just to move on.
We had teenagers that you're gonna hate, and this film really made you want to hate the kids in this movie.
Fuck you, Molly. You wanna go down there in the dark? I'm not gonna stop you.
And you wanted them to kind of die because they were being douchey, but like they had their sentimental moments and like some good development. But at the end of the day, these guys, I don't know.
Definitely the douchebag Travis. I hope he was supposed to be the douchebag.
Yeah.
I am so sick of you thinking that I will do anything for you if you just blow me or fuck me.
Are you seriously complaining about fucking me?
Yeah, definitely.
He was very much a hated character and someone you're gonna be yelling at the screen, like just hoping that the killer gets him and cuts him up. And when people get killed off, I was actually surprised by the special effects. We see all of the kills and blood pours from everybody, pretty much. There are lots of like wounds and gashes. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but the kills are pretty solid.
I was also really impressed with the lighting in this movie. This takes place at night, and for an indie film, you can see everything. Like, we don't need to see what's going on behind them, we just need to see what our characters are doing and what they look like, and I thought they lit them well.
Speaking more on like the technical aspects of this movie, I thought the sound was pretty solid, and the majority of the camera work was pretty decent. Things were in focus. I know it's something weird to kind of say in a movie review because things should always be in focus, but when it comes to indie features, especially being like a first horror movie for a lot of the people involved, including the writer and director, I was actually impressed that shot types were proper. We'll get into some more of this later on because there are some faults, but for the most part, it's easy to watch. Now let's move on to our dislikes.
In saying that it was nice to hate Travis's character, all of the characters were not likable. You want someone to root for to get away. It was just teenage drama and bickering that I didn't care to see, and there was too much of that.
Yeah, it's really hard to get on one character's side if like you don't like either character, really. I did like Amy and I did like Molly, I guess, but not because their characters were developed. I think just simply because they were better actors. To touch on the technical aspects once again, well, a lot of the film was shot pretty decently. There are some questionable shots, specifically when the girls are walking to or from school, because there are a couple of these shots and they're tracking shots and it's not stabilized and it looks awful. Especially considering it's one of the first shots in the movie, you're just like, what have we gotten ourselves into? Oh shit. Thankfully it does get better. It seemed like the director of photography didn't know how to like focus properly or to change focus mid-shot, so you don't have any focus pulls in the whole movie. So I think that could have been worked on because there were times where Destiny's talking and she's like completely out of focus, and that's just unfortunate.
And I also feel that the story wasn't as strong as it could have been, or at least the execution of this story. We did get to see some cool kills and we did get some interesting characters, but constant bickering, it didn't feel like it was a good flow for a story. Early on, we get 2 characters who leave the scene. They go off to do their own little thing. The other 4 people just remain and play cards, but the whole topic of discussion is just like, they're not back yet. Well, let's go find them. No, they're just having sex. All right, 5 more minutes.
Travis and Molly should have made up by now. I mean, they've been gone for a while.
While they're talking about the missing characters, do like cross cuts.
Yeah.
Don't give us the result and then give us them talking about what could possibly be happening.
Right,
Like,
it should have been happening at the same time because it keeps the audience engaged. One of the weak points, despite how good the kills were, the killer was kind of weak. Not physically, he was strong enough, but he wore this like just a regular coat, like a guy's coat, like a winter coat, and he just had a hood on.
It was like a windbreaker.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So it was kind of hilarious, and maybe that's one of the tropes that they were aiming for, to make him a little more ambiguous, so you didn't know if it was a girl or a guy or something like that. But I thought it was a little too comical, considering that he's not a funny killer. And we also don't get any motivation for him.
By the end of it, you assume you know who the killer is, but there is no grand reveal or any closure.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Party Night was a decent debut for Troy Escamilla. This was a pretty straightforward slasher movie with some solid practical effects as far as the blood's concerned. We had some excellent acting from Tommie Vegas and Laurel Toupal, and the production value was pretty decent. Unfortunately, our killer is kind of weird, as he wears a windbreaker. And I didn't really like most of our characters. And I think the editing could have been better to make the movie overall a little bit more enjoyable. So I'm gonna give this 2 Destiny sex scenes out of 5.
This was a good attempt at a first-time film for these guys. I really liked what they pulled off. We had good kills, and you saw everything. The lighting was nice for a film that was taking place all at night. What I didn't like was the story. It was very slow, poorly paced, and we just didn't have any characters to get behind. So when they did die, it didn't feel right. This is definitely a micro budget, and it shows. So there's lots of flaws in this movie, but at the same time, it was a great attempt. They did what they could, and it's a learning experience. I'm pretty sure if they try it again, that their next film will be better. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 1.5 shark attacks out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it, or at least follow it until it comes out. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.